Have you ever had that feeling where you just don't feel like yourself? Or even weirder, you feel like you're a bunch of different people all rolled into one, and which one shows up depends entirely on who you're with? It's an incredibly disorienting feeling, right? It can honestly make you question your own mind. Well, today, we are pulling back the curtain on a very deliberate psychological trick that is designed to make you feel exactly that way.
We trust that our self-concept is a stable, integrated whole. Yet, under chronic abuse, we find ourselves exhibiting wildly different, often contradictory behaviors that feel disconnected from our core self. This is the dark psychological paradox of identity fragmentation, a strategy that splinters your mind.
So, that's the big question, isn't it? I mean, how on earth does another person get that kind of power over your inner world? It sounds like something out of science fiction. But here's the thing, it's not magic. It's a mechanism. It is a predictable, systematic process designed for one thing: destabilization and control. And understanding that system is the first step to becoming immune to it. All right, so here's our game plan for how we're going to unpack all of this. We'll start with that inner conflict, the paradox of self. Then we'll get right into the manipulator's endgame. We're going to spend most of our time on the fragmentation playbook itself, then look at the psychology that makes it all work. And most importantly, we'll talk about how to reclaim your unified self. And we'll wrap up by completely reframing this whole experience. Okay, first up, the paradox of self. Before we can really get into the attack from the outside, we have to understand what it's targeting on the inside, that core feeling we all have of being one whole person. This right here is the central conflict. You know who you are. Deep down, you have a solid sense of your own values, your personality, but then you find yourself acting in ways that feel, well, alien. One minute you're the funny, confident person you know yourself to be, and the next you're timid and apologizing for everything. The clash is so jarring, it creates this constant grinding internal chaos, and it makes you think, what is wrong with me? But the truth is that conflict isn't a sign that something's wrong with you. It's a symptom of an external pressure you might not even be fully aware of yet. So if you're feeling all this internal chaos, you have to ask, who does that serve? Well, that brings us directly to the manipulator's endgame. Because this feeling of being destabilized, it isn't an accident. It's the entire point. So let's put a clinical name on this experience: identity fragmentation. Now, the two most important words on this slide are trauma response. I really want that to land. This is not a personality flaw, it's not a weakness. It is your psyche's incredibly resourceful, if desperate attempt to survive an impossible situation. When you're facing demands that just can't be met, your mind does something amazing to protect you. It builds compartments. It creates these separate pieces of you to handle the contradictory things being thrown at you. And this is why they do it. The goal is brutally simple: control. See, a person who feels whole and integrated is pretty hard to manipulate. They've got a good sense of who they are, where their boundaries are. But a person who is fragmented, who is confused and constantly second-guessing their own reality, that person is destabilized. And a destabilized person is so much easier to control. The fragmentation isn't a byproduct of the abuse, it is the goal.
So how do they achieve this? They force you into roles that absolutely cannot coexist. It gives you emotional whiplash. One day you're the perfect partner, and you can do no wrong. But then you make one tiny mistake, maybe you forget to pick up milk, and bam, suddenly you're cast as the unworthy villain, the source of all their pain. Or they demand you be the compliant servant, with no needs of your own. But if you're too compliant, you're weak, so they provoke you until you become the rebellious child, just so they have a fight they can win. You literally go to bed as the hero and wake up as the villain, with no clue what changed overnight.
Okay, now we're getting to the absolute heart of this explainer. Because this isn't random. It's not just chaotic cruelty. There is a playbook, a methodical, three-stage process that is used to intentionally create this fragmentation. And once you see the stages, you can't unsee them.
Here it is, the whole mechanism laid bare. It starts with a psychological trap, the contradictory demand. That forces the mind into a corner, which leads to step 2, splintering and role adoption. And finally, a state of non-integration and exhaustion keeps you stuck in that loop. Let's break down each one.
Stage 1. This is the engine of the whole machine. The contradictory demand is a classic no-win situation, a double bind. For instance, they might say, I really need you to be more independent, have your own life. But the moment you make plans with friends, you're punished with the silent treatment or accusations of abandoning them. Or just be honest with me. But when you honestly share a feeling they don't like, they fly into a rage. You literally cannot win, and trying to hold both of those opposing realities in your head creates this incredible mental stress we call cognitive dissonance. So what can your mind possibly do when it's stuck in that no-win trap day after day? Well, to survive, it does something that's both brilliant and tragic. It splinters. It's a defense mechanism. Instead of one unified person trying to be both independent and completely submissive, which is impossible, your psyche creates different pieces. It creates roles. There's a piece of you that's the independent one, and another piece that's the compliant one. And you just activate whichever role is needed to survive that specific moment and avoid the punishment. And this is the final, devastating piece of the puzzle. These roles, these pieces of you, they're walled off from each other. They don't communicate. The perfect partner part of you has no access to the memories and feelings of when you were treated like the unworthy villain. It's why it feels so disconnected. It's like trying to run 3 different operating systems on one computer at the same time. The whole system just gets slow, glitchy, and completely exhausted. Maintaining this internal separation burns up all of your energy, leaving you vulnerable and confused.
So we've seen what and the how, but the big question is why? Why is this tactic so terrifyingly effective? The answer is found when you look at the completely opposite motivations of the manipulator and the target. This slide just puts it all on the table. It's a collision of 2 opposing forces. On one side, the manipulator is driven by one thing: ultimate control. Their primary tool is destabilization, because they know a fragmented self can't put up a defense. On the other side, the target is driven by one of the most powerful human instincts we have: attachment survival. Our brains are wired to preserve the relationships we depend on. It's not a conscious choice, it's a deep, unconscious survival mechanism kicking into high gear. And that's the heartbreaking transaction at the center of all this. From the target's perspective, this splintering feels necessary. It feels like a sacrifice to save the connection. The unconscious logic is something like, this relationship is critical to my survival. To keep it, I am being told I have to be X. Being X goes against everything I am, so I will create a new piece of me that is X in order to save us. It's a tragic act of self-preservation that ultimately leads to self-erasure. Okay, that was a lot. We've spent a good deal of time mapping out the darkness of this trap, but now we're going to talk about how to get out. Let's turn on the lights, because understanding the mechanism is the key to dismantling it. This is all about the path back to you. The good news is, there is a clear path to putting yourself back together. It's 3 concrete steps. First, you have to learn to see the trap in real time. That's identifying the contradiction. Second, you have to reconnect with your own internal compass by doing a unified self-audit. And third, you have to actively refuse to participate by enforcing a no role-play boundary. This right here might be the most powerful tool you have, the unified self-audit. It is a conscious, intentional act. You sit down away from the chaos and you write down who you are. What are your real, non-negotiable values? What do you actually believe? This becomes your personal constitution. It's your anchor. Then, when a demand is made of you, you learn to pause. And instead of just reacting out of fear, you check in with your audit and you ask, what would the whole authentic me do here? And you choose that response. And this is how you defend that boundary out loud. When you feel that push, that attempt to cast you as the villain or the crazy one, you can say this, calmly and firmly: I am not going to be the villain in this story. It is so powerful because you're not arguing, you're not justifying or defending yourself, you're simply making a statement of fact. You are refusing to read the lines they wrote for you. You're stepping off their stage. We're almost done, and this last section is maybe the most crucial of all. It's about reframing this entire painful experience and putting the responsibility right back where it belongs. Please, just take a second and let this sink in. That feeling of being in pieces, the confusion, the memory gaps, the constant exhaustion, all the things that made you feel like you were losing your mind, it is not a symptom of your madness. It is the evidence of their strategic torture. It's the proof. It's the receipt that shows exactly what was done to you. It is evidence of their strategy, not your fragility. And this is the most empowering truth of all. As powerful as this cycle of abuse is, it needs your participation to keep going.
The second you become aware of their playbook and you consciously refuse to step into the role they're trying to force you into, you break the cycle. That one act of refusal is the beginning of everything. It's the first step on the road back to yourself.
So let's tie this all together. Identity fragmentation is the trick that makes you feel like pieces of yourself. We've seen exactly how the pattern works. That contradictory demand forces the splintering. And remember, that is a trauma response, a way your mind tries to maintain a relationship it believes is necessary for survival. But awareness breaks the loop. By using that unified self-audit to remember who you really are, and by refusing to participate in their role-playing, you starve the dynamic of its power. You begin the essential work of reintegration, of calling all those lost pieces of yourself back home. Which leaves us with one final, powerful question to think about. If you refuse to play the roles they have written for you, who are you now free to become?